former title as the strongest in the world. The abbot believes that, due to his own limitations, the temple has declined under his leadership, and he feels responsible for this loss of glory. Hyun Guang, however, cautions that change is not always beneficial. Abbot Hyun Chun acknowledges this, but insists that he has chosen Mujin because he believes Mujin will bring positive change to the temple. He expresses a desire to trust in Mujin's potential for reform. At this point, Abbot Hyun Chun calls for Mujin to enter, and Mujin, who had been waiting outside, responds affirmatively, stepping into the room. Mujin enters the room carrying a bowl of soup, which Hyun Guang immediately recognizes as containing meat. The porridge has a small amount of meat, considering Hyun Guang has not eaten any for decades. Initially, Hyun Guang hesitates to eat, but after reflecting on the efforts of Abbot Hyun Chun and the risk Mujin took to challenge the temple's rules, he decides to eat. The mixture of regret and resolve fills his heart, and after offering a prayer over the food, he eats meat for the first time in many years. Meanwhile, Mujin spends 7 days teaching Biob Jian the treatment process, focusing on the methods that don't involve the electrical and heat treatments, which are handled by Hyun Gong and Hai Dam. By the time Biob Jian has memorized everything, Hyun Guang is able to eat boiled meat without difficulty. Thanks to Mujin's treatments and the restorative properties of the meat, Hyun Guang begins to show significant improvement in his condition. On the day of his promised wall-facing punishment, Mujin reflects on how he really didn't want to return to the cave, the place where he was previously forced to do his punishment. He resigned himself to the fact that he must follow the higher-ups' orders. While he had planned to focus on training, hunting, and eating meat as he had in the past, he finds himself confused and flustered about why he's back in this situation. As he stands at the entrance to the cave, Abbot Hyun Chun, who is behind him, instructs him to go inside. The reason for Hyun Chun's presence is revealed. Earlier during the meeting, the abbot had decided to accept the punishment alongside Mujin, stating that this wasn't just a matter of whether it was right or wrong, but that he would take responsibility and accept the same punishment imposed on Mujin by the discipline court. Hyun Gong asks Abbot Hyun Chun if he is really going to take the wall-facing punishment alongside Mujin. Hyun Chun confirms that he will, stating that it's for the sake of changing one of the rules. In the present, as Mujin faces the wall, he reflects on the situation and feels trapped. He thinks to himself that he's screwed because the abbot has already settled into a lotus position and is chanting Buddhist scriptures, making it hard for Mujin to move or even shift his toes. Mujin wonders if it's even allowed to speak during wall-facing punishment, and notices that the scriptures Hyun Chun is chanting seem off. Mujin eventually realizes that the abbot is intentionally mixing up the chants. Mujin realizes that the incantations Abbot Hyun Chun is chanting are not random, but are connected to the martial arts techniques he's learned. He notices the pattern. Each incantation corresponds to a specific move in his martial arts training. Hyun Chun begins chanting different sutras in sequence, like the Diamond Sutra, Lotus Sutra, and Buddhavatamsaka Sutra, and Mujin starts to recognize the martial steps hidden within these chants. As he focuses more, he imagines how the martial arts techniques flow with each chant, connecting the words to specific movements in his mind. When Hyun Chun chants a flickering lamp, a phantom, Mujin associates it with the first move of the chain punch, a straight punch. The incantation and a dream follows, prompting Mujin to further delve into his image training, visualizing how the movements tie together. Mujin considers the next move in the swift whirlwind sweep, planning to raise his right leg for a kick. However, something feels off, so he decides to insert the step from the invincible punch to fix it. He spends the next 30 minutes mentally interpreting the incantations as steps and training in his mind. As he trains mentally, the intensity grows, and Mujin finds himself struggling to hold back the desire to physically practice what he's imagining. Despite being in the middle of a wall-facing punishment, Mujin begins to peek at Abbot Hyun Chun, who is still chanting. Mujin wonders if he can get up and practice without breaking the rules, but he notices something strange. Abbot Hyun Chun's chanting has taken on a rhythmic flow, which makes Mujin think it could be intentional. With a sense of urgency, Mujin decides to take a risk, thinking he has nothing to lose, and attempts to get up from the lotus position, prepared to gamble on the chance that this might be an opportunity for action. As Mujin stands up to practice, he quickly realizes that Abbot Hyun Chun is aware of his movements, but continues chanting without interruption, confirming that Hyun Chun intentionally set up this opportunity for Mujin to train. Following the rhythm of Hyun Chun's chanting, Mujin practices his martial arts steps, beginning with the chain punch straight punch, followed by the 21st move of the invincible punch, and ending with the swift whirlwind sweep. The rhythmic chanting makes it easier for Mujin to follow through the steps, But he grows curious as to why Hyun-chan continues to chant the same incantation